To quote JB Bickerstaff, it was a disgusting display of disrespect towards our guys and towards what we're trying to do. Detroit loses a close one to OKC, and a lot of that is on the refs. There was no Cade Cunningham to end the game. I mean, in the third quarter, he was ejected off of his second technical. Off of a weak second technical, I should say. You should see other guys jaw with the refs. Cade Cunningham just tries to plead his case, tries to get explanations out there. JB Bickerstaff mentioned he wanted them to review a potential hostile act, potential elbow to the head-neck area. They didn't do anything, but an OKC player trips over his own teammate. They're going to look at that for sure. JB mentions Mark Diagonal is arguing on the opposite side, the coach of the Thunder, with the refs over and over. JB tries to say one thing, tries to call out their name. Official just says that's enough. The league is favoring the OKC Thunder and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and that's the hardest thing for me to engage in Shai's MVP conversation. We had the conversation with Brennan Sims on the podcast earlier this week, but this is insane, the whistle that these OKC Thunder get. If we're talking about a Detroit Pistons team that deserves more respect after what they're doing, like, okay, last year they win 14 games, sure. Rip them apart. Don't give them the calls. Penalize a horribly run organization. Try to get them to change something. But this team goes out and changes everything. They have an all-NBA player in Cade Cunningham, and he still gets treated like one of the worst players in the league in terms of how he's treated by officials. We talked about in our last video, Cade in the pick and roll has the lowest field goal or lowest free throw attempted per game, lowest free throws attempted per game out of the top 7 pick and roll ball handlers, which involves a lot of driving inside. And he's third in total points. So there's a huge discrepancy there. And Colin Cowherd, someone I used to respect until his takes got insane, loved him back in high school, which was almost 10 years ago now. I don't think he actually watched this Thunder Pistons game and just listened to that conference, but this doesn't even reflect anything that has to do with listening to the conference that JB had, because JB was talking about legit things. He was talking about legit things that happened that shouldn't happen in terms of favoritism towards allowing one coach to argue more, allowing hostile acts to go, or potential hostile acts, I should say, to go unpunished or even unlooked at, unreviewed. It's not like he was just out there saying they shot more free throws than us. He's coming with hard, factual evidence. And a lot of these coaches that come out here and rant, I mean, we saw Monty Williams do it last year. They rant and say, we're not treated fairly without any backing evidence. JB Bickerstaff brings out 2 key points there. Crumples the paper, bangs on the table. I mean, what more does this Pistons team have to do? They changed their entire culture. What's next? I mean, how can Detroit get in better favor with these refs? And it's shocking because I don't think arguing like this, you're going to get fined, is going to help. Because you're going into a really tough stretch of the schedule. You have to stand up for your guys. But what is that going to do for the officials for the rest of the year? Are they going to give Detroit the favor? Are they going to say, screw you because of how you badmouthed us? Even though the officials were in the wrong. It's just insane to me because I don't want to sit here and say, oh, maybe he shouldn't have. Because you need to stick up for your guys and you need to call out what's wrong. That's the only way things are going to get better. I'm just going to say the maybe potential effect from it is we're going to see stricter officiating versus the Pistons. And with this, I want JB to do this 10 out of 10 times. Any coach should stand up for their players like this. I would do this 10 out of 10 times. One caveat, though, one thing that might happen now is there might be more strict officiating on the Detroit Pistons the rest of the way, which is a side effect. You're going to get a fine. Maybe they're going to not like how you badmouth them, but man, you have to call things out because the only way things are going to get better is if someone speaks up. And that's true in any walk of life, any situation. I just hope it doesn't affect the Pistons to end the year. I mean, I think they're kind of locked in that 6th seed, but we don't know at this point. But hats off to JB. This is a coach that is leading these young guys. We'll be back with more content soon. See ya.